Hello and welcome. My name is Ollie and I'm part of the Maps4Realestate team. As a little disclaimer to start with, I'm not a professional speaker and I don't have a script for this video. So if at some point there's a little pause or something doesn't work 100% according to plan, please forgive me. I'm here today to show you how the Maps4Realestate editor works. So basically what we're looking at right now is the area of New York and Philadelphia. Obviously I can choose to zoom in or out as much as I like, either by rolling my mouse wheel up and down, which I do now. I roll the mouse wheel down and thereby the zoom area becomes bigger, or I zoom out more basically. And as you can see now we're looking at the whole of the east coast of the United States, and vice versa. If I roll my mouse wheel up, the area is zoomed in more or closer and I see more details. So really depending on what I need, I can also move the map around, obviously left and right, up and down. So let's say I'm interested not in Philadelphia and New York, but just the area of New York. So basically what I do is I roll the mouse wheel up until I'm happy with the area that I'm looking at. So in this case we're looking at the greater area or greater New York area. Quite a lot of detail, and also depending on how far I zoom in you will see more or less detail. So if I go in really far, really close so to speak, at some point you will start seeing buildings, little streets, parks, all the things that make no sense on a higher zoom level, but a lot of sense once you zoom in closer. I think you can see it right now already. There's outlines of buildings, you can see the park here. Let's zoom in one more step, so it becomes really obvious. So what you see now is, again, more buildings, more details, and more outlines. So the closer you zoom in, the higher the level of detail will be. So either you can zoom in and out or move the map up, down, left and right up to a location which is of interest to you, or if you want to use search, you use the little box up here where it says address, place. So in this case, let's see, these are the Google offices. Let's look for 2600 Pearl Street in Boulder, Colorado. So we paste it up into here, click on search, and the map will now reload, and here we are, Pearl Street in Boulder. Very close zoom level, so what we do in this case is we zoom out a little bit so it makes more sense, but basically we're now in the city of Boulder and this is where one of the Google offices is. If I was interested in adding more locations to this map right now, more markers to, let's say, highlight or show a certain building, what you can do is up here, the second option where it says add POI. So if I click on that, in the middle of the map you will see a little marker, the number 1 appear. You can click on it again and then move it around. So for example I can put it on here. If I click this button up here again, the add POI button, number 2 will appear in the middle of the map, rinse and repeat. I move it where I need it. Maybe one more time, number 3 here. So let's say I want to delete one of these markers. What you do in this case is you hold down your control key and click with your left mouse button on any of these markers, which I did right now. And I'm going to do it again. I hold down the control key and I click on the number 2 and it disappears. One more time, I'm going to click up here on the add POI so it appears again. I position it where I need it. One more. So here we go. Now I've marked or highlighted 3 buildings. What I can also do is up here where it says add path or add closed path, I basically add lines and polygons to the map. So I start with add path. You'll see in the middle of the map you've got a line with a start and end point. If I click on it I can hold it down, move it where I need it, and the other one as well. I can also, if I click on it in the middle, bend it. Right? So it's up to me what kind of shape I want to create. Again, if I want to delete this, which I do right now, I hold down the control key and click with my left mouse button and confirm. I'll show you the closed path. It's basically just a triangle. So at the moment you see a little triangle in the middle of the map, and once again I can move these end parts to where I want them. So let's say I want to highlight this building here, the one where my mouse cursor is right now. What I do is I move this over here, this one over here, this one over here, and because the building is not a triangle obviously, I'm going to change the shape a little bit and try to, well, basically draw the outline as closely as I can. And maybe I add a POI, number 4, and move that in the middle. So now it's a button or marker and a little outline around it. This is how I would think most maps where you want to show certain locations are created. Now, Of course, you might say, I want to change the layers in this map. I'm not interested in all the buildings, I'm not interested in the color yellow for these streets, we need a different color, or I want to show more or less details. That's actually quite easy. As you can see here in the left-hand navigation, you have many ways to change the layers on the map. So for example, let's start with the buildings which we see right now. So I'm going to click on areas, and within the areas menu you've got residential, industrial, airfields, beach, well beach doesn't really apply to this map, national parks and so on, but what we're looking at right now is the buildings layer. So I can either uncheck it or disable it by clicking here where the checkbox is, and just watch the map. All the buildings have now disappeared. I repeat this, I click on it and the buildings should appear again. So one more time, any of these layers you can either enable or disable. And I should probably turn my email off while I do this video. My apologies. Let me just close this. So, sorry, we were saying the buildings. So, the buildings are now active. If I were to change the color of the buildings, I can also do that by not clicking the checkbox, but the layer itself, the building layer. So if I do that, underneath you will see another menu. You will see the base color, the fill color, the outline color, so it's quite detailed what you can actually do. In this case I'm going to click on the fill color and maybe choose an orange. So it's a bit more vibrant. So the map will reload and now all the buildings are orange. So once again, I'm going to open all these layers so you get a better understanding and idea of what is possible. There's basics, there's sea levels, okay, they don't apply right now. There's areas, anything from residential, industrial, down to the buildings, which we've changed right now. We've got points of interest from airports to ATMs, banks, restaurants and so on. So it's up to you which one of these you want to show or not show and highlight on the map. There's ways, ways refer to little walkways or path. There's streets, starting with residential all the way to express highways, and there's the labels for cities. So if you see, scrolling up and down here, there's roughly 200 layers and labels that you can change. And once you've created a map in terms of the design that you like, let's say you want orange buildings, black streets and green backdrop for whatever reason. Once you've created this map, once you've decided what layers you want to show and what colors they have, you can actually save this down here as a template. So if I was going to click on it here, on this little save changes of theme button, what comes up is the option to call it 1, 2, 3, I don't know, let's call it 1, 2, 3 test theme. So next time you load this tool, this map tool, you can choose from any of these themes in here, right? So that's the one we just created now, 1, 2, 3 test theme. I'll show you what happens if I choose a different one. Let's say we choose this one here, Step Map Soft. So the map will reload with everything on it already, but with a different theme. Right now you can see the buildings are grey and the streets are a lot more subtle in terms of the color. Let's use Step Map City Map for another example. This is going to be a very vibrant, strong map. There you can see red buildings, a lot more colorful. And let's go back to the one we created in the beginning, the 1, 2, 3 test theme. Here we are. So once again, it's up to you. You decide what layers you show on the map, you decide what colors, and so on. Once you're done, once you're happy with the design, you save it permanently to your account if you like as a template, and the next time you or your colleagues use this tool, simply choose your theme. And then you don't have to repeat all the modifying and editing again. It's always going to be your design, your map. Alright, the final bit in this video anyway, I'm going to be more detailed in regard to the features you have up here and also in regard how you can change the font style in the other videos. So once you've finished watching this one, just check out the one where you can change the font style and the ones where I go a bit more into detail how to use these features up here. So last bit for this one will be how to download this map, because obviously at some point you want to download it and use it in your products. So you click the download button down here, and what you'll see is you have the option to choose a print size, a scale and a file format. And the nice thing is you can download this as an Illustrator SVG, so it's a full vector file format, which means you can then, for example, if you want to further edit it in Illustrator, Photoshop or any other graphic program. You also have the option for CorelDRAW, SVG or a very straightforward JPEG if you just need a quick map. So really it's up to you what format you choose. I usually recommend the Illustrator SVG because that's compatible with most other programs, And then all the layers also that you've seen here in the tool itself will also be available once you download the map and once you reopen it if you want to in Illustrator or other graphic programs. So it's actually quite powerful. So let's say we want to print this in, I don't know, let's say 5 inches width. Maybe that's a bit small, let's say 10 inches width. And that refers or translates basically to 4.88 inches height. Right? So you can see at the moment the map area 10 inches wide and the aspect ratio is more or less 1 to 2, so the height is 50%. So if I was going to download this map right now, you can then, like I said, open it again in Illustrator, use it and modify it further. The last bit I wanted to show you in this video is you can also, of course, crop a map, right? So if you click on this little button down here and you're not happy with the full screen area that we're looking at right now, you can also use the crop feature. So if you click on that, you will see that you can drag it around and make it any aspect ratio or any size that you like, and then you move it around, right? So if you click the download button now, what will happen is that you only, and very specifically, download what you see highlighted in the background. So it's really up to you if you want to download the full screen or the aspect ratio and the area that you marked before by using the cropping feature. So once again, the other features, the more advanced features up here, I'll demonstrate in the second and third video. Also when it comes to the font style, at the moment there's a very generic font style in here, but if you have your own font style that you want to use, I'll also explain that in the following videos. Thank you.